At this point, the planet Mars has become inseparably linked with Elon Musk, and for a good reason too. The SpaceX CEO recently stated that astronauts on the Red Planet might actually become a reality by 2029, and has supposedly made discoveries that change everything. The CEO of SpaceX has long had the idea to build a settlement on Mars. It would enable humanity to become a multi-planet species, support 1 million people, and be self-sustaining. It's possibly Musk's most audacious objective, and it might keep him busy for the next 3 decades. What's the purpose of this mission? What's the progress report so far? Let's find out. At the business's February 2022 Starship development update, Musk addressed the purpose of his Mars mission. He noted that there is always a potential that anything could go wrong on Earth. So he believes this is something that is extremely vital for the continuation of life itself. This is a solid point, as there are no longer any dinosaurs. The same could happen to us and other species. However, the terrain on Mars is quite dangerous, as evidenced by a recent study. The unexpected challenges that astronauts must overcome include solar panel dust buildup and microscopic Martian rocks that caused problems for NASA's Curiosity project. Hence, Musk said this week on his Twitter page that an image with astronauts on the Red Planet would more likely come to life sometime in 2029. Originally, fans had anticipated that the first humans would reach Mars by the middle of the 2020s. What exactly are Musk's plans for Mars? On Mars's surface, he wants to construct a complete city, and everyone with enough money, not just scientists and researchers, would have access to this city. Loans might be used to cover the cost of a person's flight to Mars if they are interested. Once there, individuals might repay the loan by working in everything from pizza parlors to iron foundries. In 2016, Musk predicted that there would be a labor shortage for a very long time. The Starlink internet service terms and conditions revealed in October 2020 indicated that this city would be able to govern itself on its own terms. This appears to be at odds with the 1967 Outer Space Treaty, which specifies that the country from which the launch originated is in charge of all subsequent space activities. A self-sustaining city on Mars would require, according to Musk's 2019 estimate, about 1 million tons of goods. A Mars settlement will cost about $100 billion if cargo transportation to Mars with the future Starship costs $100,000 per ton. Musk predicts that the cost could reach $10 trillion on the high end. However, SpaceX might not end with just one city. At the 21st Annual International Mars Society Convention in August 2022, SpaceX's lead Mars development engineer, Paul Wooster, said that the company might construct numerous cities. The plan would be to grow from a small outpost into a larger base, not simply like there are in Antarctica, but rather a hamlet and town evolving into a city, and then numerous cities on Mars. Musk has received criticism for his plans. Some say we should focus on more pressing issues, world hunger and poverty. Others say his current project would create an even bigger divide between socioeconomic classes. He's defended his stance on numerous occasions. The transformation of humanity into a multi-planet species is Musk's stated goal. He has compiled a list of justifications for why people might want to spread out into the cosmos over the years. He frequently mentions the idea that a catastrophe on Earth could mean the end of humanity, but that if it can establish a base on another planet such as Mars, humanity may survive. It is extremely uncertain how much time is left for life to become multiplanetary, given that Earth is approximately 4.5 billion years old. Musk made this statement on Twitter in November 2021. A surprise meteor attack might exterminate humanity in addition to climate change, which is the absolute worst-case scenario. According to the billionaire, there are a lot of things about the future that make people unhappy or despondent. But I believe that developing into a spacefaring society is one of those things. Musk added in February 2022 that one reason for humanity's expansion is that we are life's caretakers. He added that while the creatures we care about cannot build spacecraft, we can and can take them with us. We are constantly reminded that the world beyond the atmosphere is hostile, icy, and harsh, while we look to the stars to extend our range of existence. Mars colonization and exploration have long been human aspirations. NASA's goal of having astronauts arrive on Mars by 2030 suggests that SpaceX has a plan and that fantasy may come true. Just getting people across the 34 million-mile distance between Earth and Mars is one of the most challenging jobs. When the Mariner 9 and Viking space probes first sent back images of Mars to Earth, there was evidence of water. They claimed to have found a 12-mile-wide lake that was around a mile below Mars's south pole in a study published in Science in 2018. In the same year, the U.S. Geological Survey reported that they had found 8 locations on Mars where large cross-sections of ice deposits between 1 and 100 meters below the surface had been revealed through erosion. Although there is currently no equipment available to extract water from Martian soil, NASA hopes to bridge this gap with the Mars Ice Challenge, an annual contest for college engineering students. You may also be wondering how exactly this colony will be built, houses and all. Well, astronomy reports that astronauts on board the International Space Station just finished an experiment that successfully showed they could mix cement in microgravity. Concrete, a sturdy, protective substance that is already used to cover workers at nuclear power plants on Earth, will one day be able to be utilized by humanity to build habitable structures on Martian soil. Future Mars exploration missions will force scientists and astronauts to deal with a host of problems that could endanger human life. The most challenging obstacles to overcome include getting access to water, surviving in a frigid world bereft of oxygen, and controlling lethal radiation levels. The finding could corroborate the theory that life on Mars was forced underground after a catastrophe turned the planet into a frozen desert, and it represents a significant advance in the search for extraterrestrial life. Finding boron on Mars increases the likelihood that life once existed there, according to Patrick Gazda, a postdoctoral researcher at Los Alamos National Laboratory. Borates may play an important role in making RNA one of the building blocks of life, he added. One potential link between basic chemical compounds and RNA is borate. You cannot have life without RNA. The presence of boron indicates that these chemical processes may have taken place if there had been organic matter on Mars. Even if they don't mean anything definitive, even in 2022, they might subsequently provide some sort of incredibly important new knowledge. In any scenario, SpaceX must prepare the Starship to travel to Mars. If all goes as planned, the Super Heavy booster will enable the Starship to break records. With the potential to reach 3,800 tons in the future, it now has a propellant capacity of about 3,400 tons. The number of engines in the booster, which has varied between 29 and 37 during development, is 33. It now possesses a thrust of about 7,600 tons, but that force is anticipated to grow over time. For comparison, the thrust of the Saturn V, the spacecraft that carried people to the moon, was roughly 7.5 million pounds. The Saturn V remains the most potent rocket to have ever been launched. The booster of the Starship has the potential as well, according to experts. This will protect the ship as it enters Mars's atmosphere at a speed of about 17,000 miles per hour. Temperatures on Mars reached almost 2,400 degrees Fahrenheit when NASA's newest rover, Perseverance, touched down there. The spacecraft will launch 100 to 150 tons into space at a time, depending on the orbit. For orbital refueling, in which a second Starship stays in space and refuels a ship to finish the journey to Mars, Musk believes the ship could carry 200 tons of payload. In the end, a payload this large will be just what potential Mars colonists need to get everything set up correctly. In any case, they may find it difficult to remain on the surface for very long. But we believe as more work continues to be done, this will eventually be sorted. When do you think the Mars colony will be a reality? Comment below.